It's Jeron. I'm back. Happy 2026. And we got something special for y'all tonight. We kind of had to change the name of the show due to some legal reasons that we didn't know. So I figured, I used to do this thing called TNN. So I figured, why not? So as of tonight, it's your boy, Jeron, live in your host for Toledo Negro News. Welcome back, everybody, and again, happy 2026. And of course, I am Duran, and like I said, this is now TNN, Toledo Negro News. And tonight we are going to talk about something that everybody experiences at least once or twice in their life. Hell, if it's more than three times, I think that something's wrong. But it's just my opinion. But we're going to talk about that tonight. But before we get into anything, make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell button so that way you never miss when we upload, drop new content, or anything exclusive. So make sure you hit that notification button. Subscribe. Tell your friend to tell a 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 friend to click that button. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Tonight's story time is going to be about narcissism. Um, Now, the story that I'm about to tell you is very true. And I did ask the person that it involves if it was all right. They agreed. And the only thing I'm going to do is change names and situations. So there's that. All right. All right. So, like I said, I have a friend. We're going to call her Queenie. Okay. Um, Queenie and I have been friends. Well, let's see. It's the 2026 now. Um, hmm, excuse me. Looks like it might be going on about 9 years now. We've been friends. Um, Real cool, real super cool individual. You know, down to earth, bourgeoisie when she wants to be, but otherwise down to earth. Fun to be around, and I always, I'm telling you, there's not one moment that I've been around her and we haven't laughed, and I haven't laughed until my stomach hurts. Those type of laughs. Anyway, um, she felt kind of close to me to confide. Well, I ain't gonna say kind of, but she felt close enough to confide in me something that he's been recently going through and what it's boiled down to now. And I'm gonna tell you now, there are some very sensitive subjects in here. It's a very sensitive topic, very touchy subject. I'm not saying anything in harm of anyone's decision as far as like what to do with their bodies. But I'm going to be heavily opinionated with the culprit at hand. So, um, this was a little, not too long ago. I'm just going to say not too long ago. I'm going to say within the last 30 to 45 days, just to keep it like that, just in case somebody want to talk. You dig? But I get a TikTok message from Queenie, and she's telling me how she feels so bad, so on and so forth, this, that, and the third. And she sent a picture with it. And let's just say it was some very unfavorable marks on her body. Okay. Now, this is where it escalated and ended up. Let's take it back to the beginning. Queenie had been messing with this dude. We're gonna call him Boiling, and if you know, you know. You don't, you don't. We're gonna call him Boiling. So Queenie had been messing with Boiling for quite some time, and when I say quite some time, I'm talking as if like there's like years and years and years involved in this. And like I said, they've been involved, and it's always been an on and off thing. They were um, involved in the BDSM and swinger community as well. Um, and they, like I said, they have been together on and off for about 9 years. Well, I just told her how long that is. Well, so about the same amount of time that I've known her, she's been messing with Boiling. Um, hmm. Hold on, before I go on, I did say something about the BDSM and swinger community. Please don't judge. Please don't be judgmental. Because I know some people be like, oh, well, what happened to her? That's the part. It's not that. That's ignorance. We'll talk about that in another episode. Anywho, um, so she been messing with the dude on and off, and throughout their relationship, they were bringing other women into their relationship as well. And the thing is, Queenie was like so down for him that she was fucking with these chicks too. Now, she's always messed with chicks as well, but she decided, to, I'm gonna make this work because I'm in love with this man. Hmm. You're gonna see me do some long pauses, y'all, because it's a little hard to grasp. Because this, trust me, this shit is wild, and this is only part one. Okay, I'm going to do this into two parts because it is a very long story. So it's a story time. What you tuned in for, that's what you're gonna get. Um, so let's skip. We know she's been messing with them for a long time, and she was trying to deal with the females or whatever with. Now, as far as she is concerned, we're not gonna mention the other women quite yet. You have to tune in for part two for that. Um, as far as she is concerned, she was basically, how to put it? She was basically financing these chicks for him. Okay, I'll get into that more too in part two. So make sure that you tune in. So she's doing all this financing for him, taking care of him basically. Um, and he treats her like shit. Now, in one particular incident, he texted her and he was flipping the script. You know what I mean? He was flipping the script. We all know what narcissism is. If not, we got phones, tablets, computers, technology, dictionaries, book, Merriam-Webster. Check that out. Um, but he would text her with angry words at first, and then after she responds back and then starts to become angry or responds back with angry words, then he decides to play victim. Key pattern of a narcissist. And it got to the point to where, yeah, I'm not going to talk about that right now, but we'll come back to that. But he utilized that pattern on her for 9 years. And before anyone says, "Oh well, I wouldn't couldn't have been me," I would have done that. Like, yeah, none of us know. None of us know. None of us know. So let's just stop with all that. None of us know what we would or wouldn't do. Hell, half the people that are saying that shit are dealing with one now. Oh, okay. Um, it got to a point to where he had things so ingrained in her head that he could almost piss in her face and she would believe it's raining. However, she had the logic and smarts enough to know it wasn't raining, but would just go along with it and say it's raining just to please him. You follow me? Now, giving brief synopsis, because I'm going to give a brief synopsis of how their relationship started to go astray. And then I'm going to state some things. Okay. Now, to summarize their relationship was always, it was just toxic. Now, she wasn't perfect, but she did what she could for this man. And even though time and again and time and again and time and again, he was showing her that you ain't it, she just couldn't break herself from it. And we've all been there. So let's not judge. We've all been there. Um, excuse me. The problem that I have is not that she stuck around for so long. And the problem that I have is not the fact that she went through it in the first place. My problem is with who? Boiling, listen, I always believe in charity. I always believe in doing what I can for not only those that are disadvantaged, but those that don't have anything, aka the homeless as well. But what I'm not gonna do is finance and fuck and support one. Again, I'm not gonna fuck finance and support one. If she were here to chat it up with me about this, y'all, I promise you all would be laughing your asses off because it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be funny and emotional and whatnot. You know, well, I say it's gonna be because I'm hopeful that I can get her to come on the show live and have a chair in the guest seat and or have a seat in the guest chair, however you want to say it, and um, speak her 2 cents about what's going on, what happened. Um, and again, Queenie did was totally um, cleared to tell this story. Now, when I made the comment about the homeless, I'm not teasing the homeless at all because I do mean that, and I do believe in charity and philanthropy. It's like very, very much so. However, this dude, fine, he just ain't shit. He ain't shit. He is not. He isn't. He ain't worth a damn. None of that. He ain't. He is not. But he has so many women enamored with his dick. Now later on, if there is a part three, we're going to talk about how this double standard is put out here, how he's being able to hypnotize with dick, but some of these same women being hypnotized with dick are they 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 speak contradictory of how they live. But we're gonna get into that. But like I said, dude, well, I don't know. Quinny says that Boiling has a job. I don't know. Because if he did, how is it that he's never able to keep gas in his truck? And before you say rent, let me get there first. Okay. But from what she says, Queenie says that he has two good outfits that he wears and swaps all the time. And like I think one or two pairs of shoes or something like that. And it doesn't matter about materialistic things, but here I'm gonna make a point in a second. But she says that he has all of this. He is living in an abandoned home. He's squatting. Mm-hmm. 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 They don't have heat or running water. So he no, he has running water, but not hot water or any heat or anything like that. He has electricity. How I don't fucking know. Um, from what I understand, his house is infested with bed bugs. Well, at least downstairs. Um, and he has someone that's living with him. And for her sake, because I know that her mental capacities aren't all the way there, I won't put that in the um I won't put that in this anywhere at all because I just I can't. But let's just say she's not all the way there mentally, and she keeps the bed bugs company while he sleeps upstairs and does whatever guy on God's green earth he does upstairs. Um, Tragic, I know. And like I said, it's the ding dong because I don't know. Well, here's the thing. She said that he was, he's a Libra, and I'm a Libra myself, and I know how people can become enamored with the balanced Libra, the tipped right Libra, or the tipped left Libra. In his case, he is the tipped left Libra. He is all of the negative things that he hates about the world and himself, and it's projected in how he lives and breathes and sleeps and eats and shits and everything else. Um, he, like I said, we'll get into the financing that he was doing for these other women and how Queenie was the furniture store and how Boylan was barely the table. He was barely a footstool, really. So there was no seat at a table for him. He couldn't bring anything to a table. It was a footstool. Um, it's a tragic, tragic, tragic way to be. Because there's no way. I mean, there's no way. Nah, there's no way. Mm-mm. Like, I keep pausing in this too because, like, I have to make sure that I'm redirecting myself and my thoughts instead of just like going hamster wheel crazy. Because I kind of wanted to do that in the beginning, but I decided, like, no. Mm-mm. That's why I'm making it 3 parts. And this is part 1. I don't understand why he feels that. Well, never mind. I do. I do. I do understand why. I was about to feel. He doesn't have a soul. He doesn't have a soul. He's younger than me. I'm younger than Queenie. He looks like he would be in my parents' age in their late 70s. But those of you that know, know. He has no soul. He's what I call an incubus in the flesh. An incubus spirit is a male spirit, but there is a female spirit um, that coincides with it, known as the succubus. But the incubus is known for being able to entrance and entrap, whether it be male or female. Um, I'll say subjects and not victims, but it's able to entrap those subjects and keep them in a lustful mindset, spiraling down and confusing lust and love, lust and love. And there's a lot more to being an incubus. There's a lot more. It's like go into some deep demonology type shit. And, if y'all want to start talking about stuff like that, we can. All you gotta do is just email me, the Howie Media Group at gmail.com. That's it, that's all. Word up. Hey. Um, he doesn't have a soul, that's why he doesn't care. I just don't know what it's gonna take for these women, including Queenie, because she's still enamored. She's pulling away, but she's still enamored. I don't know what it's gonna take for these ladies to realize they are financing this squatter. If you follow me on TikTok or here on Howie Media Group and look at my shorts, you'll see a clip of what I'm talking about. That was kind of a preface to let y'all know this is something I'm getting ready to talk about. So just be mindful of some of the things that I post, and I like it seems like they're just being silly posts. I'm sending out messages. Okay. Um, I don't know what it's gonna take though. Eventually they're going to have to be like, you know what? I'm done with this shit. But the question is how or when. Not how, but when. How long and when. That's the real question. Any of you that have ever seen the television show A Different World and remember the character Mr. Gaines, the owner and manager of the pit where everybody ate. If you remember the episode where Gina was experiencing DV from her wannabe rapper boyfriend, I can't even remember his name. I didn't even like him. You know what I mean? And the dude who's the actor, like fun fact, he is still an actor to this day, and he's done some other roles, and I just won't watch the movies because I don't like him that much. I know it's some old 30-year-old like me don't like you character drama shit, but it's all love. But if you remember the episode, and he had to talk to Gina about the DV she was experiencing, and he talked to her about someone that he knew that was close to him that was experiencing the same thing, and the woman was like, "Well, he don't love me unless he hit me at least once or twice a day. If he don't do that, then he don't love me." And he told her straight out, you know, it was poppycock. And he said one day he loved her to death, and then they buried her that following week or that week before or a couple of days before, something like that. He buried her. He had just went with them to bury her right before he told Jenna that story. And I even went back into my mode and said the same thing to Queenie because yes, it did turn into a DV situation, but it's worse than you think. Queenie is alive and well, and she is slowly but surely trying to break away from boiling, but it's gonna take the community that we've built as family to make that happen. Anyway, um, that is my only fear. And I'm not fearful of anything, so I'm not even gonna say fear. That's my concern is that it's gonna get to a point to where he's gonna love her or AKA not love her to death. And that's not something that I want to be privy to or have any type of dealings with. No, no, no. And according to Queenie, she's the only one that he has done that to. I don't seem to believe that, but that's what she says. I have to take my friend at her word, but I can always have my own speculation as well and my own opinion. Um, when she called me that day, we talked for 3.5 hours on the phone. I was driving back from the Cincinnati area back to here in the Metro Detroit and Toledo area. I was driving back, and basically the drive didn't even feel like it was a drive because I was talking with her the whole time. And then by the time I got home, we were in a three-way call with someone else. I'm gonna call her because she has a part in the story too, and I will be bringing her up in one of the parts coming up. So just make sure you stay tuned and as you stay tuned, tune in, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell button, and you'll find out. Anywho, I'm gonna call her Lavender. Lavender knows about the situation. She works not too far from the studio here. And yeah, I'm gonna save that for the next, for not the next episode, but I'm gonna save that for one of the other parts. We're gonna get into what Lavender knows and how Lavender plays into the story. Lavender is not a bad guy or gal. Lavender's not a bad person. It's just an interesting role that they play because of the short amount of time that she's known Queenie. You know, it's very interesting. You know, but yeah, there's a lot more that I'm going to say about him, the situation, the other women, Lavender, and there might be another name or two that is involved in this because they need to be warned. Not so much about the man's hands, because he's more deadly in his penis than he is his hands. So, make sure you tune in next time. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell button, and make sure you put it on all. Not personalized, put it on all. Hit that notification bell button, then put it on all. And once you do that, you will be privy to every single time I upload, post, or have a new flashing event or, you know, any type of breaking news with TNN. But thank you for watching so far, and make sure you tune in for part 2 on the next episode. I have been your host, Jeron, and this is Toledo Negro News, aka TNN. Y'all have a good night.
Yo, they be talking on Howie like he ain't got no vision, saying he moving too fast, no direction, that nigga just wishing. Some be like, got no swag, can't rap, go listen. But stay smiling up in my face, leave your ass dizzy transmission. That's the vibe they spread, but my grind cut like Beijing boy, line across your head.